Aloha, everybody. Today is October 17th, 2024, and this is my live coaching today. I am doing these usually twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today I'm doing it from home because I'm a little tired from the Traders for a Cause conference. It was a wild and crazy few days, and I'm just trying to come back into my own re-enter right now. And I'm definitely finding myself a little bit on the tired side. So I'm happy to be here though today. I've missed doing these lives with you guys. I missed a couple because of the conference. So it's good to be here with all of you. And I'm looking forward to doing some speed coaching for those who volunteer. So if you do want some speed coaching, please raise your hand, let me know, and then I'll be sure to put you on camera so we can get some work done. I do these almost every Tuesday and Thursday, and it's my way of just trying to give back to the trading community. Of course, you can work with me as a coach, but since everybody's not in a position to do that, I offer these so that people can get, at least some of their basic issues addressed in these lives. And it also just, I think, facilitates traders seeing that they are not the only ones who are up against a challenge. I think it's really easy to think that you're the only one who's stumbling into trouble or to think, it's just you. But I think ultimately, these conversations help traders see they're not the only one, that the challenges you face are common challenges that all traders face. And I think when you know you're not the only one struggling, uh, it helps. So if anybody here does want to come in for live coaching, please just come on in. All you have to do is take this link and click it. Let me give it to you right now, actually, so you guys can use it. I have to type it out here. Hi, Dari. I'm so glad you're here. Are you saying you want to come in? I'm happy to have a day off too, but more happy to catch you doing a live stream. That's awesome. Thank you, Daria. Well, Daria, if you want to come in, of course, we saw each other at the Trees for a Cause conference, but we didn't get to do coaching. So if you do want to come in, then here is the link that you can come in if you want. It's up to you. I'm wearing a very special T-shirt today, guys. I'm gonna just put the camera down. This is, of course, one of my favorite phrases that I learned from Rick Carson, and I came back from the Trades for a Cause conference finding this in my mailbox from one of my clients. So it's awesome. It was just awesome to receive that from her. Her name is Jill. And hi, Jess. I'm so glad you're here. And actually, she has on the back. Should I show you the back too? So she put two of my favorite sayings. So here's the back of the T-shirt. Can you guys read that? Let's see. Curiosity with neutrality. That's what the back says. So can you read that? Curiosity with neutrality. So I'm always encouraging my clients to practice neutrality and curiosity. In fact, those are the first foundations as a coach that my coach training taught us, was how to practice as a coach a sense of curiosity and neutrality. Because when you have any kind of judgment or opinion, you can get in your own way. So it's something I advocate to traders, especially traders who are experienced, traders who feel at certain points in their journey that they know what they're doing. We can all become too certain. We can all become know-it-alls. And I think that's a caution the more sophisticated veteran traders need to keep ahead of. You have to think, is there that sense of comfort with what's familiar? It can cut you off to new opportunities. It can cut you off from seeing your own hubris. It can cut you off from actually being like that scientist and observe what the market is doing as neutral as possible. I think it's very easy to slip into, oh, I know what I'm doing. And I want you guys to be confident when you have earned that confidence, but I never want you to be filled with hubris. I never want you to feel like you have it all figured out, because that is always when the market will humble you and remind you that you actually are a human being. So, anyway, I'm excited to wear her shirt today. And of course, Simply Notice is the phrase that Rick Carson, this is a mirror image, so I keep going the wrong way, but I'm trying to move my hair out of the way. So, Simply Notice is what I want every one of you to start to practice more. I want you to realize that you need to notice how you react to certain trades going the way they go. It's easy for you to have an emotional reaction, but if you begin to just simply notice, then you have a greater likelihood of not being hijacked by the emotion. And that is the key, right? You don't want to be hijacked by the emotion because you want to be the one who's driving your vehicle. You want to be driving your own bus. Every time you react instead of respond to an emotion, to a trade going pear shaped, to you being incorrect or not following your own strategy, it's easy to slip into judgment. But it, going into judgment puts you into a contraction. It doesn't facilitate you being able to navigate to the best of your ability. You're going to make mistakes. You're human. You have to realize that. Allergy to certainty was a phrase a trader said today on Mark Tuttle podcast. That's fabulous, Tom. Thank you for telling me that. It's such a good phrase. Don't have an allergy to certainty. It's perfect. It goes right in sequence with this concept of curiosity. So, I must have said these phrases to Jill quite a bit over the time we worked together, because she went and had them, created on a t-shirt. But if you guys didn't see my X post while at the Trade for Cause conference, I got to spend some time with Andres, who's also a client, was a client of mine, and he got Simply Notice tattooed on his arm. So if you guys, I'm trying to look, do I have it here in my phone? I probably do. So I'll show you. Yeah, this is his arm. If you guys can read this, it might be reversed, but there is his tattoo that says "Simply Notice." So he obviously wanted to remember it more than a T-shirt, so he just put it on his arm, and I love that. I love that he did that. There are days when I'm like, maybe I should. I don't have any tattoos, but I'm very good friends with one of the best tattoo artists probably on the planet. His name is Dave Shoemaker, and he has his own shop in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Dave and I met, God, over 12 years ago. He is such a dear friend to me. And, sometimes people are like, wait, how can you be friends with this amazing tattoo artist and not have a tattoo? Isn't that a rejection of his artistry? And I'm like, no, not at all. And what I love about Dave is he's never even told me I should get a tattoo. That's true friendship. When your friend is a famous tattoo artist, but he doesn't try to bully you into getting a tattoo with him. But I met him. Dave and I met at a tattoo shop. He has his own shop now in Hasbury. If anybody's from the Jersey Shore, go say hello to Dave for me. He was on my podcast. If you guys watch my podcast, Wall Street Coach, watch the episode I did with Dave Shoemaker. Because Dave had a really profound, he facilitated a really profound experience for me. But Dave, I was with a friend, one of my guy friends was getting a big tattoo on his back. And, I went with him because it was going to be hours. He was going to have this work done. It was a big tattoo. So anyway, I went to the tattoo shop with my friend, and, Dave and I just hit it off. Dave is a big reader, as am I, as you guys know, and he just started we started talking books, and so we just had this, like, great, rich conversation in this tattoo parlor, not what I was expecting, and, my friend, because we kept talking, it was interrupting the tattoo art, so my friend kicked me out in the end. I was there for a long time, and then he's like, you two gotta stop talking and let him focus Kim on the tattoo." So in the end, I had to leave. But Dave and I got together a couple of weeks later, had some coffee, and got to really have a great conversation just about, anger. Actually, we talked a lot about anger because at that time I was dealing with a lot of old anger that I had had that I'd never fully processed from my family and from some stuff that had gone down. And I was feeling very much like I needed to physically, part of what you guys hear me talk about as a coach is that we all have to discharge hard to be with emotions. Anger was the hard to be with emotion I had to learn how to discharge. I had avoided my anger. I was always afraid of my anger because in my family of origin, having anger, feeling my anger, expressing my anger was not allowed. And because of that, me just allowing myself to process through anger was very scary for me. But I could feel because of all the coaching I was having done myself and therapy and the spiritual shamans. I was doing work with a Taoist master who was this really great spiritual teacher. I could see all this anger was kind of bubbling up inside of my body. And I could see, oh, I have to get rid of it. I have to really discharge it. And so I knew that I was supposed to destroy a piece of furniture that had been passed down in my family, that was the way I was gonna get that anger out, but it was heavy. It was like a it was like a mantelpiece, which looked like a fake fireplace. It looked like a real fireplace, but it was a fake one. And Dave was the one who facilitated me doing that, and it was because Dave was comfortable with his expression of anger in a healthy way that he was able to hold space for me, but we had just become friends, and I just wanna emphasize before I look at what you wrote here, Jess, because I wanna take that on, is that people can come into your life unexpectedly, and I often feel, are not just a coincidence. So Dave shows up in my life simply because I went with a friend for his tattoo, right? But something drew me to Dave. Yes, he was handsome. Yes, he had killer blue eyes, but it really wasn't that. That wasn't the motive. The motive truly, I felt in my soul that Dave was somebody that was going to facilitate and help me get through this next step of my journey. Now, that was a really risky ask, guys. This guy doesn't know me from Adam. And I took him to coffee. Of course, I was, slowly ramping up to the big question. But as I, kind of meditated and spent time in my own spiritual practice, I felt called to see if Dave would help me. But he could have thought I was crazy. He could have thought, "Who the hell are you, girl? I just met you." But he didn't. He was willing to help me. He was willing to help facilitate this, kind of anger session, this smash shack in his backyard for me. He taught me how to use uh what do you call that thing? The electronic saw? The chainsaw. He had two chainsaws. He showed me how to use a chainsaw. He trained me, gave me goggles, and he taught me how to use these two chainsaws in his backyard. It was like Bob Vila backyard. He set the whole thing up for me to destroy this mantelpiece. And he just gave me the privacy and the space I needed. Now, had I not taken the risk at asking him for that help, it would have been amazing. All right, so I'm going to talk about the Dave story more, but first, Jazz has to go. So, Jazz, hold on a second. Let me read it quick. So, you went on tilt today. You had been doing so well. I was surprised at how quickly I slipped into trying to make something happen. I'm feeling better about it now that I've had a chance to review. Good job, Jazz. Look, you're human, Jazz. You're going to easily slip back into that old pattern of potentially trying to make something happen. But just here's what I want to compliment you on. I hear you speaking about it somewhat neutrally. That just tells me you've already made progress because tilt is going to happen. You're going to slip back into making something happen. The key is, how do you not beat yourself up for doing that? How do you simply notice, right? Simply notice that you got triggered today, that you started to try to make something happen. The more you start to notice and get yourself unhooked from the meat hook, means you move yourself way quicker towards not doing it another time. Because the key is that all of us are human. You all traders are human. I think the biggest issue is that you guys resist that truth. I'm glad that you wrote this in today, Jess. Good job, you. I'm looking forward to hearing how you let yourself off the meat hook and then step back into your trading tomorrow or next week and find a way to simply notice now a few seconds before you go on tilt. That's the key, guys. One step at a time. All right. So Darius says, "Thank you for offering, Kim. Um, uh, but I need to recover emotionally from the conference first, as it hit me deeply. But I appreciate the offer, and I'll come out of my comfort zone soon. No rush, Daria. Don't worry about it. I am with you, sister. Here's the thing, guys. Here's why I think the Trace of Our Cause conference it hits people so hard. Are you ready? Nobody's expecting me to say what I'm going to say. It's because there is so much love. There is so much love at the Tracer for Cause conference that I think it can throw some traders a little bit of a curveball. There is so much contribution being offered. There is so much kindness. There is so much understanding. There is so much empathy. There is so much uh, people wanting to be a contribution to their fellow trader. There is so much good, hearty meat, nourishment, nutrition, true satiation that I don't think most traders are having on a day-to-day basis, that it can put the body, mind, soul on tilt. Here's the thing, guys, it's very, very important to realize having love can sometimes be hard to receive. If you grew up in any kind of environment, any kind of family where love was not practiced unconditionally, then you can become afraid of love. You can become scared of love because if any kind of love was given to you, but then the other shoe dropped and it was taken away as quick as it was given, you can start to distrust love. You can start to distrust having people be kind to you because you're so busy looking over your shoulder for the other shoe to drop. So there's a lot of times when I take clients through this emotional non resistance, one of my 5 practices, to not have them be with the heart, to be with feelings like anger, fear, or distrust, but to actually let themselves feel love, to actually feel good things. When I say hard to feel feelings, most people presume those are the unpleasant ones, but it can be the case for the pleasant ones too. Love, relaxation, ease can be very triggering for some people. I know they're triggering for me. I had to spend most of my childhood in red alert. I had to stay incredibly vigilant because there was so much instability happening around me in my childhood. I didn't know whether that good mood of a parent was going to flip to a temper tantrum. I had to be always on, red alert to look for a lift of an eyebrow, a tone of voice that shifted, uh, another incoming call or situation that took my parent into a whole nother mood swing. So I was not for a long time comfortable with things going my way. I think I've shared with you guys what happened when I got that first gig at the hedge fund, and I was doing really quite well for myself. I started to kind of have mini panic attacks because I was like, I don't know how to be with good stuff. I don't know how to be with all this money. I don't know how to be with things good happening to me, being recognized, being seen. I was like uncomfortable with the good stuff. And I do see that happen a lot with traders, that when things start to go well, some traders start to have a little bit of fear come up because they're like, wait a minute, I don't know what to do with the good stuff. I don't know how to be with the good stuff, Kim. It's intimidating to let that love in. So that's what I think is a little bit possibly at what happens for some people at the Traders for Cause event. I know it is for me because I receive a lot of beautiful comments from other traders. I have people I've never met in person approach me, ask, want to give me a hug, want to say this, or this, help them. And it's so beautiful. But to receive all that love, sometimes it's a lot, especially if you're not used to that. So be patient and kind to yourself, guys. If you went to the Traders for Cause conference and you received all that love, it's like your cup is overflowing with good stuff. And I think it could take a while to unpack that and to unpack all the wisdom. There were so many incredible talks given, so much downloads, so much information that again, you want to pace yourself and digest it. It's like having a feast, right? If you have a big feast, you can't eat everything in sight, or you could have a little bit of a tummy ache the next day. So you want to take it slow. You want to digest slowly. You want to give yourself lots of space, lots of time off. That's why I'm working from home today. I'm trying to integrate back into my week to week experience. So, Cynthia, I'm glad you're here. Wonderful to have you. All right, guys. So let's go back to the reason I'm doing this. And this is to work with some traders who want to have some speed coaching. So I'm going to have to put this up on X. Let me find the link so I can pop that up. Please volunteer. Let me know, guys, if you want to come in for some speed coaching. Remember, that's what this is for ultimately. Please come in and take advantage of it because it's kind of crazy to not come in and take some free coaching. How often do you get to have some coaching without a fee, right? So hopefully we'll have some traders come on into the live. All right. So if you don't want to come into the live, please keep in mind that I also have a voicemail set up for traders. That phone number is 646 828 7736. And you can leave your trading challenge there. And then I'll play your voicemail. You don't have to put your name. If you want to stay anonymous, that's okay. You can. But ultimately, you can leave it there and then I'll address it in these spaces. Or you can put your comment here in the chat box or on X, and then I'll address your challenge. So ideally, I'd love you to come into the room, take that link. I'll put it here again if you want it. You can come in on camera is my request. And then I will coach you right here live in a speed session. These speed sessions probably last anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. And that's what I did at Traders for Cause, actually. I had Saturday, I did blocks of trading. coaching in quick sessions. I did 20-minute sessions, and yeah, I had a full day of speed coaching. And then at the end of the conference, we did a trading circle, which had about 8 traders because the day went much longer. We thought it was going to end around 2, 3 o'clock, but Greg from Lucky Strike gave you guys like an embarrassment of riches. He gave you guys hours and hours and hours and hours of content, which was so incredibly valuable. The traders that got to see Greg in action were blown away. People said they took more notes than they've ever taken before at a session of Trades for a Cause. And so we didn't get to go until a little bit late, the trading circle. So anyway, it was fantastic though. Hi, Kimberly. I'm so glad you're here. So, if you look at my X handle where the space is, you see the space live? Just look underneath it and you're going to see the handle. Just look at the comments, the reply, and you'll see a link. And that's the link you press. It says join the stream, and that'll give you the ability to come into the room. Kimberly, I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad that I'll get to coach you. We talked about this a while ago, so I'm glad you're coming back. So, yeah, you got to go on X, look at this live right now of me, look at the reply to myself where I put the link to the restream, and then you just click on that, make sure your camera's open, and then you'll go into the green room, as they say, and then I'll move the camera over so that you can be live. So hopefully that makes sense, Kimberly. Yeah, just go to Twitter, go to X, find this live session. You'll see me posting live, and then just go into the reply. I'll put another one up so you can see it, but hopefully that will work for you. Does that make sense, Kimberly? Any questions you have, just ask. All right, hopefully that works. I put the link here in YouTube. And if that doesn't work for you, Kimberly, for whatever reason, come into the Wall Street Coach podcast on YouTube and you'll see the link in there. The comments that I put up work on YouTube, but I have to manually add them to X, which I did do. So hopefully that'll work for you. And then you could come in and get some speed coaching. Right. So Kimberly, you're on my X page. You see the live, right? Do you see the live? If you look at that live, which is the most recent tweet that I put out there, it's live on X. If you look underneath that, you'll see a comment. You just go to the reply button and you should see my commentary there. So yeah. So just click that. That's the link you have to click, and that'll get you brought into the Restream room. So yeah, I'm looking here how to tag you. Let me see. Let me see here, Kimberly. I think I have your handle here. I'm trying to find your X handle so I can tag you. What's your, let's see here. Let's see. You see it now, Kimberly. Great. So just press that and that should bring you into the room. I couldn't find your X space quick enough. I was going to try to tag you. Good. So come on in and then we'll get going on some coaching for you. I'm excited to work with you. Oh, sometimes it's probably a bit of a delay. It's all right though. Hopefully that button will take you right in. I know it's tricky because Restream tells me that it's syncing on X, but in reality, I think it just shows my live, and it doesn't allow the comments to show like it does here on Restream. So we have 139 people across all the different platforms. I would love to have other people get some speed coaching. So if you are on X and you're looking for that handle, the key is to go into my live coaching, look at the replies, and you'll see a black box that says Restream, join the stream. You've been invited to broadcast as a guest. So that is what we're waiting on Kimberly to click, and then I'm going to coach her. But if there's anybody else that wants some speed coaching, trader coaching, around your emotional well-being, about why you struggle with FOMO, about what your challenges are with discipline, any of the places that you have a challenge that you want to take on, that is what this room is for. This is specifically for traders to come in and ask their questions. And I'm not seeing you yet, Kimberly, come in. So just let me know. I'll see you when you come into the room. So it could be that's just not working. I'm not sure why. But hopefully we'll have some volunteers soon. Ultimately, I always come with topics to talk about in case there aren't anybody volunteering for the day. So today, oh, there you are, Kimberly. You did it. Good job. Hi. Can
Hi,
you hear me?
I'm trying to.
Hi.
I still hear the you speaking, and
Yeah, so you probably just want to shut off the X space so you can
yeah,
just
that's what
make
I'm trying
sure.
to get back
Yeah,
together. Me.
yeah, you got it. How you doing? It's good to have you here.
Okay, it's good to be here. I should have been here a long time ago.
You're here now. That's what counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me, you give me permission to coach you,
Yeah, yeah,
okay? And you give me permission to you. We obviously have this on all my social media, so you give me permission to have you there.
yeah. I guess so. Looking a mess and everything. So,
We don't. I don't see any mess. I just see your
oh, it's been
shiny
a long, it's
smile.
been a
I
long
just see your
day. So,
shiny smile. I hear you some days are like that. So what were you hoping to have coaching on with regards to today?
well, my main issue is and has been from day one. Overall risk management, but it's really more focused on cutting losses. I
Hmm.
have some amazing trades, and sometimes I feel like I'm satisfied with knowing I got into an amazing trade. I got a good entry, whatever, but I don't take the profit like I should. So, in all seriousness, I do believe that there's some underlying things that maybe I've carried over some years, having to do with my relationship with money.
Okay.
And I felt like at some point I went through a phase of, do I even deserve this? And,
Yeah.
or, it's a matter of getting in my feelings and everything always goes against me and, it doesn't play out like I wanted it to, even though I was just in profit. And,
Oh,
but, maybe I thought it was going to go to this level and it didn't. And then I got in my feelings. So it's like,
yeah.
it's silly little things, but
Yeah.
I'm having a really hard time breaking the habit of not um, more or less following my rules,
Yeah.
and getting out when I'll mark my profit targets, um, but I just cannot pinpoint why I don't cut, and I will disengage because I'm a very emotional person, which goes against everything that I should be when I'm trading.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Kimberly, just want to thank you so much for bringing these questions forward because
Mhm.
these things that you're saying are simple, aren't so simple, and are something countless traders have in common. These things you are bringing forward, and the fact that you even have identified that this could be tied to your relationship to money tells me you're already light years ahead of most traders because you are conscious, aware that that could be what's here, what's involved. And the
Mhm.
fact that you said is, am I even worth getting these successes? Is, I can't tell you, invisibly informing so many more traders that there's so many that don't even realize that
Mhm.
lie, that misinformation, that internal critic is telling them they don't deserve it. And that
Mhm.
is then why they self sabotage. So,
Mhm.
what we're talking about, the heart, if you look at my Twitter profile, is I help people, I help traders and self sabotage. This is the self-sabotage. So, Kimberly, you are calling out the foundational cornerstone of why traders don't get their profits, make
Mhm.
profits at all. So, thank you for being here today and speaking these truths because this is so common. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah, and I know it is. Sometimes you feel like you're in this space by yourself, but then you realize other people are dealing with the same things. And I'm just in this place where I'm in a time where healing is necessary in all aspects of my life. And this is one area, because this creates trauma,
Yes, yes.
to see it and get so deep in my feelings that I turn into like I just start. I don't care.
Yep,
If it comes back, it comes back. If
yep.
it goes to zero, I don't care, because isn't that what it always does? I mean, I sound like a little kid, when I'm in here trading by myself.
Yes, but you and everyone, when traumatized, when we have been disappointed in our past, in our childhood, we had to cope. This is what is so profound about children is we are all given this incredible gift when we're kids to cope. We figure out really freaking fast what's going to help us get through whatever the environments are that we're in. All of that I learned to, I give credit to Alice Miller. She's the author of a book. Now, Kimberly, I'm going to talk about a lot of books right now. I
Okay.
don't want you to feel like you have to read them all. I'm going to ask you to just hear the titles and then you're going to decide which ones are a good fit for you. It could be just one of them, it could be none of them. I don't want you to be worried about, like, oh my God, I got to read 5 books now. But each book has a lesson, and I'm going to just speak to the lesson each book gave me. So,
Okay.
Alice Miller's book is called The Drama of the Gifted Child. And in that book, what she says is that children are inherently gifted. We know, okay, we can't survive outside of this environment, this household, where like we can't go out and fend for ourselves like animals can. We can't get our food, we can't get our shelter. So kids figure out really quick, okay, I have to sculpt myself to survive this environment. And so what happens if we don't heal that? We take that behavior like, oh, you know what? I don't even want to have any money anyway. We take it into our adulthood. We take that, like, what would that emotion be called? What would that emotion be called? Like apathy? What would you call that emotion that comes up? You're like, you know what? I don't even want to do this anyway. What emotion would you call that for yourself?
Boy. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I can't think of. I can't think right off the top, but that this has me thinking in general. But I
Yeah,
can't think of a specific
that's okay.
emotion.
That's okay. What is the emotion? Just describe the emotion. What is that feeling that comes up when you're just like kind of like the hell with this? What-
Literally, what I don't care anymore.
I don't care.
I give up,
I give
and
up.
that's what I'm feeling. That's what I say. I
Yep.
speak everything negative I shouldn't be saying is what I'm probably saying in that moment.
Yep. So I don't care anymore. Let's just
Mhm.
take that phrase, right?
Mhm.
Why would a kid say, I don't care anymore?
Because they feel uh, they feel like they've messed up and can't recover.
Yep.
Um,
And also possibly don't want to get hurt again,
that yes, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, if you keep caring and you keep being disappointed, at some point you have to just shut down and not care anymore because
yep.
it hurts too much.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. Because that's how I get myself out of that feeling, so that the heavy feeling that I have in me, the feeling that would bring tears and all of that. And I don't care anymore. Whatever happens, happens. And yeah, so that makes sense.
right? So think about the genius of that habit.
Hmm.
You're in a dark spot, you feel disappointed, and so you go to what's going to help you cope. And that is, I don't care anymore.
Hmm.
How could any of us make a kid wrong for toughening up so they don't have that disappointment again? Would we ever think badly of that kid? No, we'd be like, smart kid.
Yeah.
So that happening for you now is just a old behavior that actually saved you a long time ago.
Hmm.
But it's not saving you now.
Right.
That's
Right.
all. So
I'm a middle child, and I've definitely dealt with that middle child syndrome. I've dealt with feeling, rejected, not necessarily from my family,
yeah,
but just in general. Even to this day, I still go through that feeling like I'm always on the outside and feeling rejected. And so to save myself, I shut myself off from everybody else, or I don't care anymore. That's my favorite line in everything. So I'm seeing how it's going across every area of my life.
of course, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. We don't get to just say, "Oh, I'm just going to do it over here in this
Yeah.
little
Yep.
compartment." No, it comes with us into every place, including training.
Yep. Because you're always trying to protect yourself.
Correct.
And yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
because you had certain challenges, experiences, dynamics that taught you, wow, this is not going to necessarily go the way I thought it would. So I have to prepare myself now for that inevitable, quote unquote, disappointment that's coming right around the corner.
Yep.
But the key, and this is part of what Alice Miller's book talks about, is that we have to bring all of those ways of behaving to survive. That's why she calls it the drama of the gifted child. She says
Mhm.
we're all gifted as children. We're all gifted. And the dramas we endure in our childhood are we did the best we could with what tools we had.
Mhm.
And the key is that because most of us never get tapped on the shoulder when we leave to say, hey, guess what? That kept you safe as a kid. But now that you can take care of yourself, that you can live in your own place, you have to put that down and pick up a new way of operating. It's like a new operating system. If you have an old operating system on your phone that worked 10 years ago, it's probably not going to give you access to what's available to you now.
Right.
But we have to heal this. Every one of us, Kimberly, every one of us has to heal the way we kind of sculpted and morphed ourselves to cope with the past so that we can be not taking that past into our current and our future.
Mhm.
And that takes some work. So
Yeah.
I would say perhaps it would be worth it for you to check that book out because
Mhm.
that book's going to kind of help you bring to the surface what were these ways you kind of protected yourself. There's probably a notebook filled of catchphrases. I don't care anymore is just one of them. So I would say, now let me say this, Kimberly, this exercise I'm suggesting for you, this isn't going to be fun. You're not going to get to the end of a hard day and say, wow, I can't wait to do that homework assignment Kim gave me. You are never going to say that.
Right.
You're going to say, what a pain in my ass that she gave me that homework assignment. This is not what I want to do. What the hell did I get myself into now?
Well, please understand that I have been in life was life and for me. So I've been in a depression and anxiety recovery program for the last few months, and I'm actually coming to the end of it next week. So I'm used to getting these assignments that don't feel good and having to really tap into my emotions and all of that. So what you're saying, I'm very familiar with right now.
Good. I'm glad. So maybe you won't be that mad at me as you dive into it. And here's the thing, right? Depression, anxiety, all of that is a human response to hard to be with emotions. And in my experience personally, I haven't seen enough of our world, our culture, encouraging us to feel those feelings, to
Yep.
process those feelings. How can any of us be free of them if we aren't given the tools to feel those feelings? And that's part of what, I do, and a lot of the work I do with clients is teach them how to serve internally those hard to be with emotions. One of the things you said a few minutes ago about what happens is you have emotion come up for you. See, this is the trick, is being in a position to allow that feeling to come up and through and out is key. I can understand that in the middle of a trading day or in the middle of a business meeting or in the middle of a conversation with somebody that has nothing to do with it, you may not be able to be with those emotions, but then put those emotions up on the shelf and then come back to them and let them come up and out through you. Because those have to be discharged for you to be free of them. And this is something I learned through Raphael Kushner's work for my own practice. In the beginning, I struggled with letting myself feel my emotions because when I started to first let those emotions come up, I thought they were going to swallow me. I thought they would take me over, but I just stayed with them. This is a catchphrase he taught me. I went as fast as the slowest part of me could go. So I never let myself go to tilt, but I let them come up and out. And as I opened this live session with today, Kimberly, one of the emotions that was very hard for me to process was anger. So I had to learn how to do that in small, bite-sized pieces until I could hold the space for all the anger. Anger was very scary for me to feel, but I had to discharge it. So here are two teachers I'm going to recommend. They both have a lot of books. You could also just go online and listen to their talks. Peter Levine, his book is called Waking the Tiger. And
I'm sorry, could you spell it last name, please?
Levine.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Levine. And his book is called Waking the Tiger. And he talks all about how humans are not taught to discharge emotion. He talks about how animals are in life and death situations every day, but they don't carry trauma. Guess why they don't carry trauma? Because they tremor and tremble and shake it off every time it happens to them. What do humans do?
we hold on to it and we
Oh,
dwell in it, and
swallow. We don't let ourselves feel it. We don't let ourselves shake it out. We don't let ourselves cry. We don't let ourselves safely express that anger. We just are told to swallow it, take a pill, numb it out, take a drink, get over it, suck it up, blah, blah, blah. Women are told something different than men, but we're all told basically stuff it down.
and just keep pressing on, and in a different way that the animals do. We just keep pressing on, not effectively dealing with it.
Correct. And that's why years and years and years and years of that looks like depression. Well, what is depression? It's pressing down. Even a pot of boiling water has a steam vent.
Yeah.
But we don't. We're not allowed to have steam vents.
Yeah.
So Peter Levine's book teaches us how to start to let those feelings come up and out. We have to have them come up and out. We can't not feel our feelings. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying we get to do whatever we want with those feelings, but we definitely have to find a space that we create that's private for ourselves to have them come up and out so that we can process them.
Yeah.
And again, we go as fast as the slowest part of us can go. So look at Peter Levine's book. He's out there. He's been talking about this for 20 years, but now he's finally getting picked up on podcasts. He's out there talking about it. So listen to his talks, and his book, Waking the Tiger, was life-changing for me. That book, learning how to somatically feel my old feelings that I'd never learned how to feel, was life-changing. It's so powerful. The other teacher, he was a coach and a teacher. His name is Raphael Kushner, and his book is called The One Thing Holding You Back. Guess what that one thing is?
What?
Feeling your feelings. The one thing holding you back is actually the not feeling your feelings. That's the one thing that's holding everybody back.
Yeah.
Being held back in their trading. So those books are going to talk about how to learn how to surf, right? Raphael calls it emotional connection, learning how to be with those feelings. Peter Levine calls it somatic connection, letting the body start to self-express. I call it emotional non-resistance. It's all the same thing. Learning to let that body feel and disperse the hard to be with emotions, and even the good ones sometimes, if they're scary for us. Now, that is some books, some directions, some books, some lectures you can listen to online, but all caught up in the midst of this is something you spoke to with regards to your relationship to money. And I would recommend that you do, perhaps, maybe you do the emotional non-resistance work first, but eventually you are going to have to reconcile with money, because money is absolutely, for each of us, collapsed with our sense of worthiness. If we have any doubt that we're worthy, that we're enough, we are not going to feel worthy of money. And I see that also happen a lot with traders. If anybody grows up in any kind of poverty or scarcity around finances, and they didn't get taught that they had value, it's very easy to have all those things get mixed up in the pot together. And we can sabotage ourselves from having more money in our life, having more success in life, because it feels unfamiliar, it feels uncomfortable, it feels like there's two chords that are they don't, what is that called when two notes on a piano, they kind of rub, it's like a discord, right?
Yeah.
It's something is off, because we haven't worked our way through our relationship to money. And one of the books that has a very unusual title that might be good is a book called Money is Love.
Okay.
That book will potentially help you start to revisit, redesign your relationship to money. Here's a couple other books. Again, you don't have to read them all. The Soul of Money is a great book. And the book is a book by DeMartini called How to Make One Hell of a Profit and Still Go to Heaven. Because it seems to me that there are a lot of traders out there who think that money is somehow just for the bad guys. And if you have
Oh my God. Yeah. Especially because I'm a Christian. And so when I first got started in trading, you hear all those negative things about some people thinking, that's gambling, that's this. So, I'm just one that always wants to make sure I do things right, because I'm a perfectionist as well, that weighs me down. But because I always want to make sure I'm doing things right, I prayed about it. I talked to my pastor about it. Like, I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything that's going to land me in hell. So, but all jokes aside, I was serious about that. But I understand that.
But that's because the culture has taught us, and unfortunately, there are things that speak to people with money. Like it's easier to get into heaven than a rich man to get into heaven, right? We get told all these catchphrases that can make people, especially people with good hearts, think that, oh my God, if I have money, I will somehow be a bad person. And
Mhm.
all of those beliefs will keep us, because who the hell wants to be a bad person? So
Right.
you sabotage yourself from being wealthy if you
Mhm.
haven't come to terms with the fact that you can be a good person and have a lot of money.
Right. Yeah.
But if
I
you
think I told myself that I felt like I couldn't because I stunted my growth in multiple areas of my life. I had a strong career going, before I had my daughters, and but then it's like it kind of fell off, and then I don't know, I lost the passion, and then people on the outside looking in always saw more you know, to me than I ever saw of myself.
Yep.
And their impression or, what they thought of me was way higher than I ever, thought of myself. But as far as I have 3 degrees, I have 2 master's degrees, but I could not push myself, to that higher level. Because I'm like, when did I get to this place where I just began to doubt myself so much and didn't believe that I was worthy of any of this? And I let the world kind of define things for me. And so I never wanted to, I guess, I think I got to a point where I didn't want to rise to this level because I didn't want people to say things like, oh, she thinks she's this or she thinks she's that. So I just came right back down here where it was safe,
So Kimberly, you know what that's called?
No.
It's got a name called crabs in the bucket in the US, and it's called tall poppy syndrome in Australia.
Okay.
And what that is wanting to stay with those people who live at mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens if crabs in a bucket, if one of those crabs who've been caught starts to climb up the side and is ready to escape, their own brothers and sisters will pull them back down. Because if you're not getting out, if we're not getting out.
Mm-hmm.
And in Australia, the kids are, if they seem to be shining, they seem to be a bright light that has the wisdom, the teacher sometimes will cut them down to size, because who are you to be a tall poppy?
Yeah.
Who are you to be a shiner? So here, I'm going to read something to you. Who are you? I'm going to read this, and it's from Mary Ann Williamson. She wrote this a long time ago. And I'm going to suggest you close your eyes to let this sink in, okay? Hold on a second here. It's sometimes attributed to, hold on a second. Who am I just want to get the right quote up here. It's sometimes misattributed to somebody else. All right, so you got your eyes closed. I'm going to read it to you, Kimberly, and I want everybody to listen to this and close your own eyes if you're not driving. All right, here we go, Kimberly. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Wow.
So, Kimberly, who are you not to shine?
Wow. As you were reading, I'm thinking I've heard at least bits and pieces of this before. And that was so necessary for me because of I don't mind being transparent and vulnerable. And I know that this was something necessary for me because for me to get on camera on a day like today when I'm a mess. I did what I needed to do. But Monday, I resigned from my job. And it was because of a lot of things that I've been going through with my mental and physical health. And that was creating some of the problems. And I had to tell myself that, stop worrying about, because I'm a very responsible person.
Yeah.
And, I would never, ever leave a job without having something else lined up. And of course, that's what people were saying to me. Well, what do you have lined up? You don't want to quit. Don't quit yet until you have this. And I'm like, what you don't understand is that I'm losing my mind and I'm physically wearing the weight of all of this stress, and it's affected me. And I said, so it's not about me transferring to another job because I don't like this job or I don't like the company or I don't like my manager. I have to do this for me. And when I tell you the peace of God that has rested on me has been amazing. And the weight of that stress has lifted.
Yeah.
Not worried about the bills I have to pay.
You will come up with solutions because you're a solution creator. But you have peace now because you're listening to your higher self, yourself, as opposed to the inner critics and the peanut gallery. So maybe that's the book that you should start with, is Taming Your Gremlin, because Taming Your Gremlin is going to help you notice that all of those inner voices that are pulling you down, they are not your voice. They are your inner critics. Every one of us has a busload of them, but what's happening, it sounds like to me, is that they are hijacking the wheel of your bus, but you took the wheel back by making that decision. So
and honestly, I let go of the wheel, and I
think you actually took the wheel back from
now. Yes.
So I want you to start to identify all of these inner critics and outer critics. It sounds like there's a lot of outer critics. You got to learn how to just give them crayons and a coloring book and tell them to go to the back of the bus. You would not let a bunch of 10-year-olds drive a bus, Kimberly, would you?
You're right.
And yet they're driving you. Like, no more.
Yeah.
You're the one who knows how to drive this bus. You have your whole life driven your bus. You've gotten to where you've gotten to now. So it sounds to me like maybe you're actually finally listening to the most wise person there is, and that's yourself.
Yeah. Because I know what I'm capable of.
Oh yeah,
and
and take on day trading. If you don't know, you got something going on, sister.
I went through a lot. My mom passed away a couple years ago, almost 3 years ago now, and just dealing with health related stuff where doctors can't tell me anything. And I finally made the final decision on last Friday when I went to go get another test done because, just my hand is numb and tingling and all. So they were checking my nerves, and they come back and say, well, the good news is, everything's working fine. I'm like, the sad part is that that's no longer good news to me because I keep hearing that everything is fine and this is not the problem. So I'm still walking away in pain or with whatever discomfort. So Friday, I knew Monday or Tuesday I was going to be talking with my former boss, and Monday it happened. And let me tell you this, and this is how I know I was supposed to do it. I resigned and I told her she was familiar with my story.
Yeah.
I ended up walking away with a severance package after I resigned. And I still get excited about the fact that I feel so comfortable in the decision that I made. I'm not stressed or worried. I'm managing what I have to manage the best way I can manage it right now. But right now, my mental and physical health is what's most important, and being more present for my daughters who are teenagers and, one in her senior year of high school. So that's where I'm at right now. And so because I resigned, I really got to get this thing right with protecting my profits. And
Yes,
so
but remember too that to put that pressure on your trading won't serve it. You
no,
can't.
and
We
yeah, I
can't
did
put
all
your
the
best
wrong things
foot
before.
on, right? It
Yeah.
could be that you'll be served to just get a little side work so that your trading doesn't feel this like intense
Yeah.
have to, must, should. That's not usually going to help.
Yeah.
But the key is you have just lifted all of that emotional weight off of
Yeah.
yourself and your trading because the body keeps score. That's another great book, right? The body keeps score. That's the title of it. And so you listen to your body by walking away from that toxic job because your body was telling you, hey, listen up to us. We're telling you something's off here. But it also seems like an opportunity to do the healing work, right?
Exactly.
Look at these books, see which one, just Google them, look at them on Amazon. Maybe it's the Gremlin book. Start to learn how to listen to your own voice, distinguish your own voice from these inner critics, because often they can sound alike. If we've only heard inner critics our whole life, we can sometimes think that's our voice. But listening for what those catchphrases are, what triggers our inner critics is game changing. And I think you just heard your voice over that other peanut gallery. And so stick with that and keep going deeper into, because here's the thing, our inner voice doesn't make us feel like garbage. So if any other voice is talking, it is an inner critic. It doesn't mean we won't have hard truths for ourselves, but make us feel like garbage. That is not us. That is not us.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I receive all of this because, like I said, it was also necessary and it's right on. It's on point. And just to clarify, I'm not focused solely on trading, and I know that I needed to pull back. So I've been there where I tried to put all the weight of every loss on one trade that was only going to give me a 2-point move, but I put all the weight on that little thing, like the little engine that could, and I tried to make it do work that it wasn't intended to do. And I like to laugh. So
well said. It's awesome. You have such great metaphors. I love it.
But so I've done it all the goofy little things, but I'm not doing that now. So my point is that when I do trade, I have to trade smarter, and I have to better manage my losses because the losses come with the territory. It's just about how you manage them. And so
you gotta recognize though that those losses are currently still triggering some stuff that has to be healed. And it's okay, but it just gives you an opportunity to be curious, right? Be curious, like, what is the self-talk from those inner critics, perhaps, when I make a mistake, when I don't go and follow my strategy? Let me be as neutrally observant as possible. The more you observe yourself neutrally, like a scientist, the more then you can take those learnings into a healing session for yourself.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That's really good. Because I know I would never treat another person the way I treat myself when I trade. And I help others, and they come back to me, it's like, thank you so much for that session we had, because now I'm consistently making money. And I'm like, first it was like, you're welcome. And then it turns into like, you're welcome, because I'm glad you're making money, because I'm not, and that's just because I'm not disciplined, or I wasn't. I'm getting there.
No, I don't think it's because you're not disciplined.
Really?
Kimberly.
I've probably been focusing on the wrong thing. Okay.
I think it's because you aren't listening to your own wisdom.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Because possibly you don't think you're worth it.
That's why I couldn't break through. I've been focusing on the wrong thing. Like, I understood some of the things, but I still been titling it differently. So I'm
Kimberly, you don't get 2 master's degrees if you're not disciplined.
You're right. You're right.
I don't think discipline is your issue.
Right.
I
And
think
then one I got when my second daughter was still just a toddler, so and a young toddler.
no, what the hell? That requires a hell of a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
So I think it's about knowing that you have a right
Hmm.
to everything and then some.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I didn't mean to take up so much time, but I'm just so grateful.
Perfect. It's perfect. So I'm going to give you a catchphrase for you to say to yourself.
Okay.
And this is a catchphrase Marissa Peer taught me. Okay. And I don't want you to write down. I want you to first just receive it. Put the pen down for a second.
Okay. Okay.
Close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart and repeat after me. Ready? I am enough.
I am enough.
I have always been enough.
I have always been enough.
And I will always be enough.
And I will always be enough.
One more time.
I am enough. I have always been enough. And no, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. I am enough.
Perfect. I am enough. I've always been enough. And I
Mhm.
will always be enough.
Okay, I am enough. I've always been enough, and I will always be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
it, sister. You practice that over and over and over and over again. Eventually, you'll start to believe it. And then you'll start to trade like it's the truth.
Yeah.
And then there's no desperation. There's no have to, must, should. There's just you following your strategy and it works. And sometimes it doesn't.
Right. Yep.
You are enough, Kimberly. You've always been enough and you'll always be enough no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. I'm starting to believe that again about myself. So
Just
I'm,
took big action towards that by doing what you did.
yeah.
That was you saying, I'm enough,
Yeah.
not meeting my needs.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, you.
All right.
Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Stay in touch. Let me know how it goes.
I will.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Aloha for now. All right. That was such an incredible conversation. And I really hope that everybody here heard that statement because that statement is what we all have to practice. The world is going to try to tell us we're not enough. And I'm telling you right now, it's a liar. You are enough, guys. Every single one of you listening to this conversation. And anything, it's the not knowing you're enough that is going to be invisibly impacting a lot of the things that you wish you weren't doing in your trading. It's you trying to prove to yourself that you're enough, but you already are enough. So it's really important that you start to heal any information, any childhood stuff, any current relationships that are trying to tell you you're not enough. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to earn your trading expertise. You do. And there are going to be times you're not ready for certain trades, but I'm talking about your fundamental value, your fundamental belief in having a right to create opportunities for yourself. That is when you start to really believe you're enough, you will be able to practice more discipline in your trades. You will be able to not expect yourself to come up with, crazy success in 5 minutes. Because when you truly know you're enough, you'll know that things take time to build things up. Thank you, Cynthia. That was so good. I agree. It was just an honor to get to coach Kimberly, and I'm so grateful to her for being so heartfelt, honest, and vulnerable because it takes so much guts to come here and to speak these truths. I'm so glad, Kimberly. I'm glad that you came in. You created that blessing by raising your hand and being brave to come in. And you bet your sweet buns you are enough. And we all are. And that is the only thing in any of our way, guys, is our believing we're not enough. It is what stops us every single day. So that today was a special day. I'm feeling so uplifted. Thank you, Kimberly, for speaking on behalf of countless traders because this is an issue I know lots of traders are dealing with, and it's part of the human condition. So you gave us a blessing by coming forward. So thank you for doing that. All right, guys, I will see you next Tuesday. I don't know what time yet, but I'll post it. And please spread the word. Please also on X, follow Kimberly. Make sure you follow her her X, so that she has more followers. Please give your compliments to Kimberly for being brave enough to come into this room and do that. I want you guys to pour love upon Kimberly, to pat her on the back for being so gutsy to come here in the first place. And I'm looking forward to more of these sessions. Remember, please call the trader voicemail, leave the issue you want to talk about, come into the room, or send me a DM and I'll tackle whatever the issue is. I'm sending you guys so much love, especially you, Kimberly, and hui ho. I will see you guys next Tuesday.